What's up, man? It's your boy Jay, aka The Strategy, aka Mama. There goes that man again, aka I'm so disrespectful, aka the man by many names. And welcome to another episode of The Walking Dead, man. This episode was the fucking most emotional, action-driven episode I've ever seen. The title of the episode is called The Killer Within, but let me explain to y'all. Let's recap. Okay, the episode starts off with us seeing somebody dressed in a prison uniform basically killing a deer, and we see him goading walkers to go into the prison. Now the first thing I thought is that maybe it was one of the prisoners that Rick let live. I thought it was actually the black guy because we saw his hand and he was black, and I was like, oh man, don't let it be the brother to be the evil one. I saw it and I'm like, damn man, it's the brother. And we see him like, you know, goading walkers in. To make a long story short, we see Rick and them, and they're outside in the little corridor, I mean the little common area, and they're basically getting ready on how they're gonna plant fields and stuff, and how they're gonna do crops and all that. And we see the prisoners that he let live walk out, and I see them and I'm like, damn man, didn't Rick tell them to stay into like their part of the prison? And the moment Rick sees him, he gets mad. He's like, so he walks towards them, and he walks towards them, and he's like, we had a deal. What are you doing here? And they're like, listen, we can't live there. And it was like, you know, either y'all let us go, or, you know, because we're not going back in there. We've paid our debt to society. We're not living in that cell box. Let us live with you. And Rick's like, no way. Surprisingly, the one person who spoke up for them was T-Dog. Now, T-Dog absolutely was probably one of the characters I hated the most. I thought he was a bitch, a coward, ever since the very first show. But in this season, he's actually proved his worth. I didn't like the fact that in the last season, when the walkers stormed the Bourne, he wanted to lead a group. But I'll get into why T-Dog earned stripes with me. I'll get into that. Anywho, T-Dog's like, nah, man. He's like, listen, we need to let them stay. You know, they've proven that they weren't the bad guys, though they weren't the actual people who were trying to get at us. We need to let them stay. Daryl was like, you know, I grew up with guys like that. To be honest with you, I could have been in there with them, rather outside here. But he's like, fuck that. They should take their chances on the road like we did. So everybody knew that somebody was probably going to die in this episode. I'll get into that. So anyway, T-Dog says they put him on the other side of the fence. The prisoners choose to leave. They give him rations to hit the road, and all of a sudden, walkers come storming out of the gate. Now, this was the plot of the guy the black guy who we seen earlier. He did it. Now, I'm thinking that it's the black guy who's behind the gate, but then all of a sudden, the alarm goes off, and I'm like, damn, the alarm goes off. There's no way that they could do it because they're locked up. So I'm like, it can't be them. So it got to be another prisoner in the thing. Now, we thought all the prisoners was dead. So to make a long story short, Rick and them, Herschel wakes up and he walks out, and he's with Rick's wife, he's with Rick's kids, everybody. Make a long story short, everybody's there. Rick is on the other side of the fence, all the way on the other side of the prison. Walkers come in, everybody ran. Now this is where T-Dog gets big credit for me. The two people in the whole damn series who everybody say is useless are the only people out of Lori, Beth, Carl, Herschel, and Maggie. The two people out of them who stay and try to secure the area, T-Dog and Carla. The two people. Now everybody always saying, oh, they're useless. Them the only motherfuckers who didn't run. Them the only motherfuckers who tried to secure the area. The only person, in my personal opinion, who had a pass to run was Herschel. Herschel was the only person who had a pass to run because he had one leg, he couldn't really do shit. Everybody else should have stayed, secured that area. T-Dog ran, and it's the only time I've seen him put the group ahead of himself. He cleared, but he got bitten. As soon as he got bitten, I knew he was gonna die. Because where he got bitten at, he couldn't be amputated. He got bitten on his neck. The only way to amputate is to cut off, you know, this side of his body, which you couldn't fucking do. He would die in the process. Even with modern medicine, you couldn't do no shit like that. So everybody gets scattered around, and guess who goes into labor? I ain't gonna even say her name. Y'all already know who goes into labor. Rick is trying to fight his way back to them, and she basically goes into labor. She starts bleeding, and she starts bleeding, and basically, you know, she said give her a C-section. There's no fucking way that she would be able to survive it. No way. So she goes unconscious, and Carl kills her. At least we think Carl kills her. From now on in this series, if I don't see a person die, then I'm not gonna believe that they're dead. They cut off to Maggie, walking the baby back, and Carl shot her. Now Carla, T-Dog sacrificed himself for Carla. We seen him hold back the walker so she can get out. We don't know what happened to her. You know, they showed her scar dropping, but we don't know if she's dead or alive. Once again, from this episode I've learned, if you don't see them get killed, don't believe that they died. That black guy who came back, who threw a monkey wrench in the whole plan, I didn't see him get killed, and he came back. So from now on, if I don't see him with my own two eyes, then so I don't know if Carl killed his mom. I'm sorry, I know a lot of people will be like, you crazy. I don't know that. We'll see in the next episode. Until I see proof that Carl killed his mom, I don't know shit. That's all I'm gonna say. We know T-Dog is dead. We've seen his body. He got fucked up. He the only one in this series who I know is dead because I seen him die with my own eyes. The episode ends. Rick finally makes it back into the corridor. Everybody's coming out, the survivors, and he hears a baby crying. And he turns around and he's like, and this, I ain't gonna even lie, like I almost cried, like emotions welled up in me. He's like, oh nah, oh nah. People gotta realize Rick didn't hate his wife. He loved her, but he hated what she made him have to do. He still loved her. Fuck are y'all talking about? He still loved her. Okay? But he hated what he had to do. Now he hasn't seen the body, but when he's walking past Maggie and she's holding the baby, you know, he looked at Carl, and Carl just like standing there with tears coming down his eyes with the iron face, and he knew Carl did it, and he just broke down and started crying, and that's where the episode ended. Great fucking episode. Action, story driven, everything you want. This is by far the best episode I have seen in The Walking Dead. I know I say that often because so far the average Walking Dead show is better than half the shit on television. I'm just gonna keep it funky with you. We saw Maggie and Michonne, and Michonne still wants to leave. And Michonne still wants to leave. Andrea wants to stay another day. Michonne knows something isn't right with the governor. You know, the blonde is fucking crazy. Also saw Merle show some emotion. Like, Merle really loves his little brother. And he's like, look, he told the governor, look, if I gotta go find him by myself, then that's what I gotta do. And the governor's like, no, I need you here. Now, I'm interested to see how that's gonna build up, because we always thought Merle was a prick and he didn't give a shit about nobody else. And Daryl already said when he was younger, Merle was in and out of pen, not the pen, but you know, he was always by himself. But this episode really showed that he really gives a fuck about his brother. Like, he's like, yo, if I got to, I'll track him down. If my brother's alive, I'm going to find him. And I'm interested to see how that plays out. With the Andrea and the Michonne, I don't know what's gonna happen there. Like I said, I think that Merle is gonna, the governor's basically gonna tell Merle no, and he basically gonna confess to Andrea or Michonne that he's a dirty motherfucker. I believe that is going to happen. I believe Merle is going to help them in some type of way. That's what I'm thinking going to happen. And great fucking episode, man. Great fucking episode. Anyway, you guys leave comments in the below and you tell me what you think. And fuck with me on Twitter. I say that every video. Check out the latest version of Super Kick and A Day in the Life, which is at the end of this video. Great fucking episode. And I'm signing off. Konnichiwa, bitches.